course, I've talked about Michael Saylor. He still thinks that Bitcoin is on its way to 500,000. I don't disagree. I think it's just going to take some time. It's not going to be that fast, but it's going to take some time. But as more and more people are learning about Bitcoin, this is what's happening with the price, even though short term I know it's bad, but this is looking at the average 4-year price of Bitcoin. And what is it doing? Just continues to go up and up and up and up. And the number of people that have a wallet continues to go up and up and up. And look at even 2022, even though 2022 is a bad year, the number of crypto wallets still jumped up by 7 million. So that's 7 million more people that's in the space that kind of understands why they need to be in something better like Bitcoin and blockchain and decentralization and all that stuff, right? And of course, the address is holding above 1 Bitcoin, which is very hard to do, not easy to do, continues to go up, nearing 905,000. So think about that. If I don't think it's 905,000, it's probably half of that or a third of that is accurate. But just think about it. Only about 500,000 people, or you could say 300,000 people in the world that holds at least 1 Bitcoin. That is so little. I'm pretty sure that number is probably more like 300,000 people. So if you think about it, okay, even being conservative, let's just say it's 1 million people. Just to have 1 million people out of 8 billion to only have 1 Bitcoin, man, we are still so early. So early. Wait until millions and millions of people or hundreds of millions of people truly understand what the financial systems are really doing. Then they will turn to something better like Bitcoin. All right, last few things. I saw this. This has me concerned, honestly. I used to be very bullish on Coinbase. And I used to say, you know what? Coinbase stock, once they IPO, will definitely be a good hold because Coinbase is absolutely huge. I don't think they're going to go anywhere, right? But this actually has me really scared. And why? Well, we know there's a lot of competitors to Coinbase, including Binance. And Binance is absolutely huge, but they have their own division, Binance.us, right? It's kind of separated from Binance, but still it has the Binance name. And Binance has decided to offer zero fee trading, right? And it has worked out really well for them. In fact, if you look at this headline, Binance itself has volume that's larger than next 13 exchanges combined. Think about it. That includes FTX and Coinbase and Huobi and all the big players that you hear about. Binance has more trading volume than all of them combined. That's how big Binance is, which makes me wonder how like someone like FTX has so much money. I get Binance has so much money. How does FTX have so much money? They're nowhere close to the size of Binance. But anyways, going back to my point about Coinbase. Coinbase, their new COO, Emily Choi, says, yeah, we don't need to go to zero fees. You know, we have our own benefits. We feel no pressure to change. Users inherently value the security and ease of use that we talked about in the suite of services. So they're willing to pay for the premium offerings. Do they really have more security than, say, Binance? And do they really have more ease of use? I know that, yeah, the Coinbase app is still probably easier to use than Binance app, but Binance app isn't that difficult either. And that ease of use can be changed very easily. So, I mean, to me, the competitive advantage to Coinbase is dying. And I don't know if they have any competitive advantage anymore, outside of just being operated in the U.S. But this has me really scared. Like, if they're so bravado about this right now, I don't know if they could survive. I mean, this really has me kind of rethinking my stance on Coinbase, because there's no reason to think, like, say, Binance.us or any other exchange in the U.S. can't overtake Coinbase. I mean, they really don't have any competitive advantage. And don't tell me about the security and all that stuff. I mean, it's about equal everywhere. So I don't know. I just have my doubts on it.
What do you think will happen with the regulation? Is this going to go all crazy and they're going to, deem all the coins except Bitcoin will be securities and they cannot be traded anymore, and you cannot do any new projects because then it's like a stock, and everyone need to go and register, like if you're doing a stock, an IPO or something like that, which will make it very difficult to do any innovation? Or do you think it will become more, in the US, will it become more pro-innovation and so on? US did very well to promote the internet innovation by creating regulation that was favorable, and that gave birth to the entire Silicon Valley and all the big companies in the US, which are all tech companies now. And which way do you think it will go with all your experience?
I think living through the dot-com bubble, there will be a lot that will get shut down.
Yeah.
Not even just due to regulation, just due to their own mismanagement.
I think that really staying in the game is really the most important part, and staying positive and not giving up is key to that. And I really appreciate that mindset that you have, because you do have that. You do have a positive mindset, isn't it?
Yeah, I do, for a couple reasons. One, I mentioned because I have been through a couple of these cycles. I mean, the biggest one I missed, after I got out of 2014, when things started coming down, right? I realized that was a mistake. But also, I think part of the journey is to actually truly understand what Bitcoin is about. It's not, yes, I think most people get in to make money. But I mean, clearly right now, if you're paying attention, and this is what I do, I cover a lot of the macro stuff that we're facing right now. If you're paying attention, all the stuff with governments, the banks, the Federal Reserve, all these guys that are really irresponsible with what they have done in the past, and that's why we're facing the repercussions of high inflation right now. If you're paying attention, well, people want something better, right? So if you truly understand that Bitcoin does not inflate, like based on a push of a button, based on what someone says, you can't just print $4 trillion worth of Bitcoin out of thin air, right? Not like the Federal Reserve in the US. There's no quantitative tightening or easing and all this stuff that you hear about every day. Bitcoin solves that. There's a set supply governed by code, right? We have a halving event, which governs the inflation rate, which decreases every 4 years, right? And that's it. It's the scarcest asset we have that's controlled by the people. It's non-sovereign. There's no country that owns it, right? And if you understand these things, and the fact that this network is the most secure network we have today, and anyone can instantaneously, using the Lightning Network, I could send you, and you could send me Bitcoin like within seconds, right? Costs us nothing really to do.
Yeah.
And no one can stop that. I mean, if people understand these things about Bitcoin, then they're in it for life. If you're looking to buy Bitcoin and crypto for the first time and you don't know where to get started, head over to CryptosRus.com and click on the best exchange guide. Within, you'll find a list of exchanges that I recommend and some that I use on a daily basis. Head over to CryptosRus.com or utilize the links in the description of this video.